So now it's time for project number 2 that you can do at home in winter. So in this second project, it's going to be a little bit more in-depth than the water drop photography. However, it is a very easy and budget-friendly project that you can do at home during winter. And all we need is some pieces of paper and a glass pane. We're going to be doing creative paper photography. Now, I have covered this subject before on the channel, and I use my EOS R for that one. Well, for this one, I'm going to be using my Olympus camera, and we're going to be using the high-res shot of this Olympus camera on a tripod, which works out at around an 80 megapixel image. And that is huge compared to what I am actually used to, which is 20 megapixels. To get started, we're going to need some paper. And this is just standard printer paper from your local supermarket. And what we want to do is cut this down by, let's say, half. You don't want to go too small, and I'll get into detail on that later on when we do the photography, and I'll show you the difference. But what I'm going to do is just cut it straight down the middle. And because we're going for a creative type, abstract type of shot, we don't have to be gentle, we don't have to be precise, just cut it any way you want to. So once you've done that, all we got to do is just start making shapes up. First, this one, I'm just going to roll it up into like a circle shape. And I want to get it quite tight so that the shape will take in the paper. So when I let go, it like unravels a little bit and it creates a circle, just like that. Anything like that will do. One of my favourite shapes to do though is folding. So what we're going to do is fold this over. We turn it round and we fold it again. It's like you're making a paper airplane. And again, there isn't any particular shape that's good or bad. You just want some sort of shape. So here are some shapes I made earlier. You can even just scrunch up some paper to try out, because at the end of the day, we're using digital cameras and it doesn't matter if the shot doesn't work. Let's put that to one side. If you want to make some interesting shapes out of multiple pieces of paper, then you will need some paper clips to clip them together. I'll let you explore that. And now let's get on to creating the actual setup that is going to provide us with those creative shots. For that, we will need a pane of glass. And this is just an A4 glass from a picture frame, which I took the frame apart and took the glass out. Tape up the sides to make sure you don't cut yourself, and you've got yourself a nice little platform. We're going to be using this a lot this year on these winter projects. You need something to prop it up with. I find that I just use simple Coke cans to prop them up. If my dentist is watching, they're not my Coke cans, okay? You place your shapes on top, you light it from underneath, and you take the photo. Now, the reason I'm not doing it right now is we need to set up my camera. And that's because I'm on a very small desk, and it's easier for me to set the camera up first and then position this into position than it is to do it the other way around. So let me take a quick break. I'm going to get the camera set up on the tripod. We will invert the center column so that the camera's facing down, and I'll come back to you in a minute. I need to move myself over just a little bit so you can see. I have my camera set up here. It's plugged into my laptop, and we are going to be using OM Capture to control the camera, so we don't have to faff around up here. We can just use the computer. So if we come over to here now, I've got OM Capture open, and we are going to be using a USB connection. So my camera is now connected, and it's going to ask me, where do I want to save the files? I'm just going to save them to the SD card. We now have our camera connected to our computer, and we're going to be using OM Capture to set up the camera. So now that's done, I can set up my pane of glass. And now you can see what I was on about, that I have to set it up in such a way that you set the camera up first, and then I will maneuver my glass pane. If you've got a bigger table, you ain't got to worry about that. But with me, I'm recording YouTube videos. I've got my computer here and everything on limited space. Let's turn on boost. That just boosts the live view. And I want to see where my glass pane is, and there it is. And I need to position this so that it's covering there. You can see there roughly the magnification we are getting with my hands, and that's a little bit too much. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to back up the camera. There we go. I'll adjust the focus again. That's more like it. Now the magnification you use is completely up to you. Just be creative and just keep trying different things. So what we do now is we place our pieces of card or paper onto our scene, and I like to focus on the closest edge, which is just here. If I magnify in here, that's the edge I like to be on. And then we need some lights. You can use RGB lights, or you can use flashes that are gelled. I'm going to be using RGB lights because my flashes are only compatible for my Canon camera, and I'm using the Olympus. Let's bring up one now. And for this to work good, I would suggest you use 2 different colours. I need some WD-40 on my chair. Or a new chair, if anyone wants to send me one. So these lights that I'm using for this are the Soonwell Magic Tube MT1. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to take a look at these, but these are fantastic. So you can see there, we got a nice little abstract picture going on there. Let's set up the camera, and what I'm going to do is put the ISO. Let's start at 1600. Now you ain't got to worry about ISO 1600 because the latest denoise software that we have available to us will clean up these images very nicely. The noise reduction software I'm currently using is Topaz Denoise. Check the link in the description if you want to have a look at Topaz Denoise. It's an affiliate link. It will give a kickback to me, but it does help support the channel. Keep it on 1600. Keep it at f5.6. 150 per second should be okay. I'm on floorboards and on a desk. We might have to just experiment with that. What I want to do here though is you want to come down to high res shot. We'll turn that on, and then in here, which we didn't do last time because I wanted to keep things simple, but in here we can choose our file format. We're going to be using 50mf plus WAR. So F is a fine JPEG, and then we have a WAR file for us to edit in Lightroom. All we got to do now is just press this button to take a picture. The camera will do its magic. It'll shift the sensor around to create a high resolution image for us to look at in a minute. What you can see there is we have a nice creative shot of paper. Now what I want you to do is take a look at the background. Now we're not doing anything wrong either way you want to look at it. It's down to personal choice. Now for me, I don't like the background. You might like it. If you do, great, go for it, but I don't like it. So what I'm going to do is take that off and put a piece of paper on top which will diffuse the light coming underneath. So if you see there, before and after, we have a nice bit of diffusion going on with our paper. I'm going to take this paper clip off because it's distracting me. And this is the, and let me just show you what was on about here, about not getting too close. If we focus on the edge of the paper here, now this is what I was on about when I was saying don't make these too small. We don't want them right by the glass. But if I focus on this edge here, we can see the texture of the paper, which is not good. So one way we can fix that is by using higher pieces of paper on here and backing off the camera. Back it off. Again, all the way to the top. And if we focus again on the edge of the piece of paper. Okay, you can see there now we have a nice blurred out background. So that's how we get that. Now again, we are shooting on high res mode, so we will be able to crop in a little bit if we wish to. We double click to zoom in. We can click and drag to move our preview around. And we're now critical focus. And we will take another picture. And you'll notice now it's probably going to be overexposed. Now the reason it's overexposed is because I got boost on. Bit of a noob, error there. But if you turn boost off, you'll see what it is through your live view. So we have some options here. Because I know I've already done this, so I previously know ISO at 1600 with the denoise software from Topaz Labs is perfectly okay. So what I'm going to do there is increase my shutter speed to get a correct exposure. And correct exposure is not what your exposure meter says, it's what you feel looks nice on the screen. Because again, we're doing creative photography. You can be 2 stops underexposed if you want to. You can be 2 stops overexposed if you want to. So long as it looks nice to you and it's what you want to get, no one can tell you it's wrong. So I'm liking the look of that. We're at 1/250th, f5.6. In fact, I'm going to bring that down let's try 2.8, okay, and we will again increase our shutter speed. So basically with that setting, just the edge of the paper will be in focus. Let's go somewhere in between. Let's go 3.5. And again, none of these settings are correct. Okay, these settings are just what I'm looking at on here and I'm liking. Again, we check the focus. Nail that critical focus. And now we've got somewhere. Let me just get that into frame. There you go. Now I've moved it, so let's check the focus again. Okay. So now we've got something that I like on screen. We can now balance our settings to get the best quality possible. So I know for a fact on this current setup I am here, I can get away with 1/100th of a second on our shutter, which means we can bring that shutter down and then we can bring down our ISO to a more manageable level. 250 looks about right, and let's take a picture. And because my shutter speed's higher, I've got less vibration chances. You don't have to backlight all of this. What we could do is stand one of our tubes up, and this is going to be a bit awkward for you to see, but if we stand that tube up, we've got one that's underneath. Let's pop that all the way underneath. Let's have it shine through, like so. Then we have one on top. We are slightly overexposed again, so let's drop that down to 200, which is the native ISO. And then we'll pop up our shutter. But that looks okay. And we'll take another picture. And this is all it is. It's just playing around. You can't go wrong. You know, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. It's just literally play around and see what comes out of your images or out of your experimentation. Let's try something else. Let's go with, remember the circles that we did? And what I do tend to find as well is the messier the paper, the better the image comes out. And the one thing I do like about RGB lights is you can move them around to see what it looks like before you take the picture. That's one thing you can't do with flashes, unfortunately. This is going to be an instant where we want to use a paper clip, so let's just pop that on there. All right, let's get this into place. Okay. And again, every time you move something, double check your focus. Okay. And we'll take another picture. Now, because that paper clip is in place, it's not going to expand and move while we're taking our picture. Now, bear in mind, I am using studio lights as well. So for best results, I would turn off all the lights, so you've got complete control over the lighting in your scene. Now, we could try some different colours. Yeah, we'll try blue and green. Right, and we'll change that out. Let's go with something in more interesting or a bit more abstracty. Don't think this is going to work though, because you can see, yeah, see, I'm just looking at that and I'm just, no. Let's try this one. This one I'm going to stretch out and have from going from corner to corner. So what we want to do is try and split the frame if we can. Proving more difficult than I thought it would be. That's close enough. Okay, let's focus on the edge of the paper. Right there. Okay, and I'm not liking the colours, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to go back to red. I like my red and blue, okay? But as you can see from there, as I'm changing the colour, we can see it in real time, what the colour looks like. As soon as you hit something you like that, we can take a picture. So there you have it, creative paper photography. A nice abstract looking image that you can do at home. Once you've got some images you like, we then want to process them through Lightroom. I will add on a preset from one of my macro preset packs that are available from my website. And then once that's done, I will throw the image through Topaz Denoise. Again, there's a link in the description if you want to check out Topaz Denoise. Using top as denoise means that we haven't got to worry about what the ISO setting, so if you can't get your ISO as low as possible like we did in this example, it really doesn't matter. Let me know what you thought of this project, and if you're going to give it a go, let me know. Tag me on social media so I can see your images, or use the hashtag macrocritique on Instagram for me to have a look at your images and critique them for you. In the next video, we're going to be doing the same project, except I'm going to be using my iPhone to take the pictures. So subscribe if you're looking forward to that video, but that's where I shall leave this one. My name's Stewart. I want to thank you for getting to the end of this one, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for sticking to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, then please subscribe and click the like button. It really does help out the channel. I want to thank my Patreon supporters for their continued support in supporting me and this channel. If you're interested in joining Patreon, then check in the description below this video for a link to Patreon. If you want to continue watching my macro journey, then click one of the videos in front of you now.